Hey everyone, and welcome to PGN Live. It is Wednesday, December 10th, 2025. We are 1/3 into the month. Gosh, the month just started, but we hit the month off hard, ending our Metroid Prime 4 Beyond 40-day countdown series, then not having to wait long for Metroid Prime 4 Beyond. We've got the Game Awards this week. So it's been a busy month. We had a sales update, being that Nintendo Switch 2 recently hit 15 million units sold worldwide. That is, sold to retailers, but still, it's sold units by Nintendo. We've got that Nintendo Switch update clearing 155 million, which is wildly impressive. Now less than 5 million away from 160, tying up PlayStation 2. Probably hitting 160 by summer of 2027. It's been a good month. And it looks like it will continue being a good month. We've got a mysterious object in the desert, which now is not as mysterious because it looks like, well, we kind of have an idea of what that is. But I don't doubt that the Game Awards is going to have some surprises, some things that we don't know about that will shock us. How shocking? That remains to be seen. But Jeff Keighley never disappoints at the show. Not everything shown is for everyone, but you'll never please everyone with everything, no matter how good you are or how passionate you are. But as long as there's something in it for you, it's good enough, you know? I'm looking forward to the event. But I'm also looking forward to talking to you all this morning. So let me get this pop-out chat ready to go. See who's already here. Looks like we've got Tall Show here. Lao Boys 411 saying hi, Paul. And also Find Your Word and Rock Beasts coming to Switch 2 and expecting 2026. Cool. Nintendo hitting their initial fiscal year sales projections within 6 months is wild. That's a good point. Can you believe that, Nintendo? I knew this was a low estimate. I knew it was a low estimate. 15 million through March 31st? Like, dude, no way. Okay. Probably a good 13 months ago or so, I was looking things up. And I said, based off of a lot of talk and excitement in the air, and studying the industry for as long as I have and just being around, I was like, before we knew what the system was going to be called, before we knew the release date of June 5th, you know? So pre-2025, I said I could see Nintendo manufacturing and selling as many as 22.5 million Nintendo Switch 2s within its first year, in which by then, well, after some time went by, when we found out that the system was going to come out June 5th, I said, okay, then by June 30th, basically, 2026, the system could do 22.5. That's kind of like my max. And I think it's realistic. Both a max, an ideal, and, no, actually, it also a realistic. And when it was 15 as the projection by March 31st, I was like, oh, that's way under, way under. When they revised to 19, I said, you guys now are on my page, because that 19 puts it very close to my 22.5 for basically 12.5 months. And if we're at 15 by early December, kind of like the subject of today's video, can Nintendo Switch 2 hit 17 by the end of this year? I'm thinking somewhere in that 16 to 17.5 range. Now, that's a pretty wide range. 17.5 definitely clears expectations. 16 would make it a little bit challenging but not impossible, to hit 19 by March 31st. You do something like, 16.7. Oh, that's a healthy number. Then you're still in only like 2.3 million territory to sell next quarter, and you're fine. So if you want to split the difference and be safe between my 16 and 17.5, call it 16.7 for 2025, and for a system to sell 16.7 million between launch of June 5th and December 31st is excellent. Like, nobody could take that away. But let's get back to comments, because boom, you're going to get me on sales talking. I'm going to keep on talking. I'm not a plan says hello, Paul. Tigerus says hey. I say 20 million by end of year. By end of like this calendar year? Oof, so you're expecting some big holiday sales. I don't know if Nintendo has enough inventory to hit 20 million by the end of this year. Oof. I would love it. I would love it if that's the case, but I don't think so. But maybe we'll see. Steak 1024, what's up? Hi there. Good to see you. Ocio Aguilera, I'm playing Metroid Prime Beyond, and I love it. Excellent to hear. Oh, this is actually my first stream. I should change the title. I should add to the title, I beat Metroid Prime 4 Beyond. Maybe I'll do that. Maybe I'll edit the title a little bit. Because yeah, I beat Metroid Prime 4 Beyond yesterday, and this is my first stream after having beaten it. So I should talk a little bit about that. Let's see. Okay, I'm going to add that to the title. Hold on a second. I'm like, I talked about it on X and stuff, but not on YouTube yet, not during a live stream. And that deserves to be in the subject, I think. I love the game. I won't do any spoilers. Oh, hold on. Or did I talk about it yesterday? Was I streaming yesterday? Oh, man. It's a little bit of a blur. Did I stream yesterday? I think I did. Yeah, hold on. I did. Gosh, it's a little bit of a blur, you know? I was sick for several days. Finally started feeling more and more normal again. I kind of got sick, got worse, and then slowly rebounded back, and now here we are at Wednesday, and like, I'm okay. But yeah. Okay. Yeah, when you catch a cold and got a fever and all this other junk, kind of messes with you. But let's get back. Welcome. Who else is in here? Tsukino Ame. Hi, everyone. Model Debut 4 came out today in English. Yay. Very cool. Jordan Andrews. Hey, Paul. Hey there, Jordan. Looked like Avatar Last Airbender adaptation is back a new season. Yeah, I saw that. Hello, Paul and everyone. The Game Awards is tomorrow. Yeah, JM Powers. If Nintendo shows a 2026 big hitter at the Game Awards, they might hit that 20 million. You know, Tall Show, if they have the stock for it, I think the interest is there. Rescue Squad Culp, good afternoon. Tall Show saying Metroid Prime 4 holographic stand is now available at the My Nintendo store for 1,000 platinum points. Ooh, I'm going to have to check that out. Ah, dang. That sounds cool. I like little My Nintendo things. I've got the Hyrule Warriors Age of Imprisonment. No, Age of Calamity. Yeah, Age of Calamity. Little decal right behind the Hylian statue, Hylian shield there. I gotta check that Metroid Prime 4 one out. I've been playing Brutal Legends on Xbox 360. Great games have unlimited shelf life. That's true. Holographic poster, you meant. Okay, cool. Hey, Paul, I just ordered an Analog 3D in Ice Color. Can't wait to get my N64 collection again. Awesome, Louis M. That's neat. Yeah, Nintendo 64 was such an enjoyable console to play. I love it. Still have mine. Still have my old cartridges. Excellent system. One of my favorites of all time. Roger Enger with the $2. Greetings, Paul Gale Network friends. Happy Wednesday. Happy Wednesday indeed, Roger. Thank you so much for the awesome, generous, super cool start to the stream. Roger Enyart 2066. Thank you so much for the super cool $2 to get us going here. Gosh, I was debating what should I label today's video, because another cool thing that's kind of coming up soon-ish is 8,000 subscribers to the channel. I mean, we have to hit 7,500 before hitting 8,000, right? But 8,000 is kind of a big one. I mean, to be fair, 7,500 is 3/4 there exactly to 10,000, so that's notable. But yeah, I guess a little bit of an ambitious goal, that might be a little too ambitious, we'll see, is that dual 8,000 subscribers / 500 member goal before December 31st. The 500 member goal is going to be the harder of the two to achieve. Where are we at right now in memberships? Oh, 187. Yeah, that's going to be tough. At one point, we had 461 members. 461 was the peak. 461 was spitting distance from 500. But right now it's at 187. So you can see maybe that 500 isn't attainable by December 31st. At one point it was getting close. We'll see. We'll see. But that 8,000 on the subscriber, maybe. We'll see. We'll always see, you know? Okay, what else? But anyways, thank you one more time, Roger, for the awesome generosity. Let's talk about Pokemon Legends ZA DLC. Yeah, we'll talk about that. We could talk about anything y'all want. Nintendo's All-Stars. Drink some orange juice. Yeah, I'm loading up on vitamin C. I'm feeling good. I had a red rash reaction to an antibiotic. I'm still taking my eardrops for the ear infection, but no more pain or anything. I feel like I could stop, but I won't. I will run it through its course as is recommended. Wow, without your beard, you look like Jonathan Bailey. I don't know if I know who Jonathan Bailey is. Rescue Squad, how's it going? It's going well today, thank you. How are you doing? Pokemon Fan 34, no Pokemon Coliseum or Paul Gale Darkness on NSO this month. Oh, not yet. I mean, we got we got 2 more games added to the Nintendo 64 portion, but not a GameCube one. There's still time. There's still time. What does Netflix deal mean for Warner Brothers Games division? We'll see. We'll find out, if anything. I still have to get my Switch 2 back from my aunt. I'm going to see if my cousin can mail it to me. Cool. I hope so. Tsukino Ame. Okay, talking amongst each other. Rayman 2 is coming to NSO. Rayman 2 is a great one. Yeah, I agree. Rahu Saturn. Happy Thursday here in India. Oh, nice. Coming from India. I'm not sure if someone live in chat before has said hi from India. Welcome in. Yeah, it is Thursday for you. Thank you for being here, and thank you for sharing that news. You know, I never know from where everyone is coming from, so to hear that this is being watched by, everybody around the world all at once is pretty awesome. So that's cool. I hope you're having a good time. What are you playing today? Ninty Prime says, keep this pace up. He'll pass me in subs next year. Ah, I don't know about that. I've only been doing this for 20 years and I almost hit 8,000. Then again, yeah, that's kind of wild. I think my first video on YouTube went up January 2006. I'm just about as OG of a YouTube content creator as it gets. Now, I mean, if YouTube was around pre 06, geez, I would have had stuff up, 1998, 2000 with my video game themed pumpkin carvings, heck, going to early E3s and stuff. But, of course it wasn't. But, yeah, I was creating, like, content for Wii and E3 back in 06. My pumpkins at the time. These Resident Evil shorts I did, some WWF action figure stuff, some workout martial arts things, like dang, way back, but definitely not like full-time career, full on ahead, and of course not the streaming, so yeah. This year has had a good amount of growth to the channel. The shorts have been something neat. The countdown series kind of changed the direction of, not having something to put up regular daily to, no, here's a daily thing. And then, as you know, Nate, after Donkey Kong Bonanza, there was a little bit of a pause between July 17th and August 14th of, okay, well, we're done counting down. We had Ruffy and the Riverside, Indie Mania, Donkey Kong Bonanza. You know what? Gaming history. Something new. Let's do it. Yeah, but it's been fun. What is your prediction for Nintendo Direct early 2026? I mean, I think we get something in February. Kind of typical for Nintendo. Around that time, if not literally in the month. We get some update on the Yoshi Storybook title. Probably another look, potentially, in that Direct, I don't know, at the Super Mario Galaxy movie. Update on Mario Tennis. A look, again, at Fire Emblem, Fortune's Weave. It will be the anniversary month of Zelda's 40th in Japan. So some type of Zelda announcement, I think, would be appropriate there. Unless if Nintendo wants to go all out and shock the world, they would show off a trailer for The Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time remake tomorrow at the Game Awards. And it would come out of nowhere, and it would be gargantuan, and it would be the coolest thing and the most unexpected thing to drop at the Game Awards and have the biggest talk of the night and to just annihilate anything else and take over the last few weeks of conversation in 2025, dominate the airwaves, bring back that nostalgic magic that people had back in 1998 when the game came out, in the fall on November 23rd here in the US, and just catapult good faith people buying more NS2s in advance of that game, coming out like next year or something like that. But I don't think that's necessarily going to happen, but it'd be wild. Why did I go down on the Ocarina path? But maybe do that. Oh yeah, you're asking me about the February Direct. I think something Zelda will show up there then, along with more third-party stuff, like, yeah. Nintendo's got a good outlook coming up. I mean, they've been firing on all cylinders for years, and they're just peaking and finding new mountains in this already beautiful mountainous range that they've climbed to the peak of. They're blowing past the clouds. They're so high. And they're like, nah, man, we're going up. We're going up. Don't get cocky. Don't get complacent. Appreciate where you're at. Keep striving to do better. I love to see it happen because we're eating games good. Another month, still no DK64. It'll come. It'll come. Find your word very interesting game and coming to Switch 2. The good news is DLC is great. Okay, some of you talking amongst each other. I've been here since 2005. Had a bunch of videos on my original channel before the Google bots took over and nuked it. Oh, dang, Tall Show. 2005. That's about as old school as you get on YouTube. Let's get the likes up. That's right, Pokemon Fan 34. Brian, Metroid Prime 4. Excellent use of money. Heck yeah, it is. Dude, Metroid Prime 4 is a great use of money. $70 well spent. Now, we'll talk about that more in a little bit. I gave my review of it, and I felt very confident. I was debating... I'll get into that. We'll get into it. We'll get into it. Hey, Joycey J. How you doing? Alien 3s. I still don't have a Switch 2, but I'm hoping they continue the Castlevania re-releases and finally give us Symphony on a non-Sony console. You know, Symphony of the Night came out on Xbox 360, Xbox Live Arcade. But yeah, it is like the one Castlevania game that has yet to appear on a Nintendo platform. It's kind of weird. Well, not really weird, but it's kind of wild. Should by now. I would love to see the reveal of a new Nintendo IP and new mascot for the Switch 2 generation. That would be amazing. The closest thing I could see to a new mascot wouldn't necessarily be like a mascot per se to take over, Mario's role, but a new mascot-like character like, the Inklings from Splatoon. And that is, gosh, I would love for Monolith Soft to bring forth a new action RPG, strong, cool protagonist or duo, a pair of characters, woman and a man, two women, whatever. I just think back to that art of the woman knight holding the sword, red dragon in the background, looks like a battlefield. Their creative minds, art direction, knack for storytelling, sophistication that they bring into game development, but not necessarily another Xenoblade Chronicles game. But within that kind of world of knights and dragons and sorcery and magic, but not a Zelda, a brand new adventure, but maybe a little bit more on the action RPG side or the adventure RPG side, to make it a different genre, different enough, would be really cool. And you build and flesh out a new character, Joanna Dark, at one time, I thought was going to be another pillar for Nintendo. And then she only had the one entry on Nintendo 64 and Game Boy Color, and that's it, Yeah, but Joanna Dark could have been that. I actually was hoping after Rare left, after Retro Studios came out with Metroid Prime, I was hoping their next game, as much as I loved Metroid Prime, fantastic game. First Metroid Prime, 10 out of 10 for me. That their next game would have been taking the foundation that they built with Metroid Prime and making a brand new from the ground up first-person shooter for Nintendo GameCube before doing Metroid Prime 2 Echoes. That way they would create a new IP, something that Nintendo could have benefited from, something mature, something that tapped back into what people loved about N64 in GoldenEye 007 and Perfect Dark, Turok 2, which, by the way, Turok 2 Seeds of Evil, today's the anniversary, N64 was a big first-person shooter machine. And yeah, GameCube had Time Splitters and stuff like that, Geist, but yeah, after the success of Metroid Prime, see Retro Studios make a brand new original IP first-person shooter for GameCube. And that never happened. I still think that they could, and would like to see them try, but never know. I'm always for a new IP, though. Let's see. Hopefully we get a release date for Splatoon Raiders. Yeah, I think we will get that. Does anyone here own the N64 4K console? If so, how is it? Would anyone recommend? I'm sad no Coliseum or Polygale of Darkness on GameCube NSO, but I'm happy with Legends DLC. That's good. Yeah, I think it'll. I mean, gosh, I know it will come. I'm crossing my fingers for you that it's still going to happen before 12/31, and I think it's possible. I mean, look, we were kind of late into the year, and here we just got, boom, a couple new NES games a week ago, 2 new N64 games yesterday. Maybe they're doing 2 a week, and maybe next week we'll get 2 Genesis ones, 2 Game Boy Advance ones, and then finally finish off the year with 2 GameCube ones. You never know. We have 20 likes. Good to hear. Can we get to 30 likes? Maybe we're already there. I'm a little bit behind in the comments. Question: when does Metroid Prime 5 Guardian come out? I would be happy to see a new 2D Metroid game in 2 years. You know, call it like October 2027 or something. That makes it kind of a long 6-year wait from Metroid Dread, but only a 2-year wait from Metroid Prime 4. So I think like 2027 for a new 2D Metroid would be not that bad of a wait with just having Metroid now. You could finally fill in Metroid Prime 2 or 3 in these next 2 years, and there you ease the wait a little bit. And then a Metroid Prime 5 in 2030, which would be 5 years from now, a decent wait. But at that point, only 3 years after Metroid Prime, or after the new 2D Metroid, so you kind of stagger it. 2025, Prime 4, 2027, new 2D one, and then 2030, Prime 5. I don't think Prime 5 would take as long as Prime 4, because don't forget Prime 4, partway through development, you had to then accommodate and build 2 different SKUs simultaneously. Prime 5, you could use some of the assets, some of the tools, some of the world building perhaps that you set up with Prime 4, then just focus on one system, add all the sauce, add new layers, and come up with one solid game in Prime 5. And I think that you could create that in 5 years. They might have already started a few months ago, Maybe partway through, even, some folks began tinkering. Hard to say. I know he's partially owned by Square Enix or something, but I'd love to see some reincorporation of Genome, even in a solo game or something. Yeah, that'd be cool. That sounds great, Paul. You just reminded me that Monolith is working on a new secret IP. Yeah, Louis. NT creates a new game for 2026 called Kingdom's Return on all consoles. Cool. Metroid Prime 4 Beyond, an excellent use of money. Heck yeah, dude. I can't wait to see what Monolith Soft is cooking. Yes, Tsukino Ame. Ninty Prime, well, Nintendo Prime, he was talking about that in one of his videos the other day, that's what he thinks could show up at the Game Awards, and I would love it. Oh, it would be so cool. But Duskbloods also makes a lot of sense for Game Awards. Honestly, you give us an amazing trailer of whatever Monolith is cooking, or Duskbloods, or Ocarina of Time, yeah, Nintendo, it'd blow everyone away. In particular with Zelda, but Duskbloods would be a big show-stealing moment too. And Monolith Soft, I don't know if it would hit as big for the overall crowd, but for the internet crowd, that is the very glued-in crowd, in particular, like the Nintendo side of it, would gush at that game, I'm sure. The makers of Metroid Prime had issues around that time with the guy that ran Retro, so it was only natural to make Prime 2. Question, why buy a game console when you could use your phone to play games? Different quality of games, different exclusives. Let's see. I don't think it will be based on the pattern. I mean, Pokemon fan, wishful thinking, but possible, you know? Maybe we get some more games released in this cadence. We'll see. 2043 for Metroid Prime 4. No, it's going to happen. Oh, come on. We're not going to wait 18 more years. Not now. Not now. At one point, yeah, there was a long wait, but not anymore. Why play games on my phone when I could sit up straight and look at a TV? It is true. It's true. Hey, Paul, have you seen the $7.99 Street Fighter amiibo Best Buy have been doing with their deals of the day? No. But I'm missing one. I'm missing Kimberly. So for $8, I'm going to get her. I got Jamie and Luke a month ago. I actually haven't opened them up yet. But they were on sale on Amazon for like $14.25. And for $14.25, boom, had to get them. Because I wanted them at launch. But I was like, yeah, $40. Nah, I'm not going to spend $40 on those three each, being $120 and buying Street Fighter 6. I mean, I'm already double dipping or triple dipping on Street Fighter 6. I'm not going to spend $120 on these three amiibo. But when Luke and Jamie dropped on Amazon to $14.25, easy buy last month, like Black Friday sale or something. No, it was pre-Black Friday sale. Whatever. But yeah, I've yet to get Kimberly. So if Kimberly is at Best Buy for $8, ooh, I gotta snag her today for sure. Thank you for telling me that. I'll have to see if that one specifically is available. Miss Piggy's gonna be at the Game Awards. Yeah, I saw that. Tomorrow's the Game Awards. I'm hoping to get more Wolverine gameplay. Yeah, Dusty Sinway. Oh, I'm looking forward to that. Brian Intihar, good friend over at Insomniac Games. I have known him for years, going back to our EGM/1UP days. So I was so proud of him and his team for successfully busting out Spider-Man. What an amazing treat that was. And then, of course, Miles Morales, Ratchet and Clank Rift Apart, Spider-Man 2, all gems. And Wolverine, I think, is going to be slick. I'm stoked. Give me more tomorrow. I really don't get the hate for Prime 4. I love the game. I feel like I'm on an island. Dude, Metro Prime 4 Beyond is fantastic. It is not a bad game at all. Look, I said it like this. So much of the game was perfect. So much of the game was exactly what I wanted. So much of it was peak love of level design, graphics, atmosphere, art direction, music, ambiance, overall feel, cinematic scope, weapon evolution, advancement of powers, button press tangible nature with quick responses, lack of loading, fluidity, navigation and control, satisfaction in getting stronger, bosses, scanning. That's all like fantastic stuff. How could a game have so many positive merits and someone be like, oh yeah, it sucks, it's a 4? So many of those things were objective truths. Is it modern in its resolution? Yes. Modern in its performance? Yes. Built tight in that there is no clipping, that there's not a lot of loading, that it does use orchestral music, that it does have a significant amount of geometry in the environments, that it does have multiple modes of control input available, that it does have a resolution and a performance mode. Yes. So many positive elements that you cannot take away from. But then you have fun factor and you have appreciation factor for what is the game. That's where some subjective nature comes in. But for those elements, so many things hit hard. I was having fun. I like Soul Valley. You know, I have the Samus on Viola amiibo. I scanned it. I unlocked the songs for the desert. And I'm like, no, I like the ambiance sound of the... It fit the desert well. The desert music didn't bother me. I chose the rest of my game to have the music off from the amiibo options, and just listen to the desert as was. So that didn't bother me either. Now, even though I said much of the game was perfect or highly, highly enjoyable, I said vast majority of the game was good, because that did leave room for some things being less than favorable. For instance, I could have gone for either a greater variety of enemies in the desert or fewer random encounters of the enemies that I did fight, because sometimes it was a little bit monotonous fighting the same enemy type over and over, or having this random encounter like an old school RPG when I didn't want to have it. Little gripe. There was a time where I had a save, I made it all the way down to do something, all the way to do it back up, and I died. And I had to restart from the last save. There was no checkpoint. A frustrating element. But that was like one isolated moment, because I died a few times in the game, but those other times had checkpoints, so I was saved by checkpoint. There's a little bit of I scanned something, died, come back to life, forgot to scan it that time, collected it, that thing is gone now. Kind of an annoying little quirk that happened, which prevented me from getting that 100%. Not that big of a deal, but still, okay, small little issue. A little bit of a game decision, but as much as I love the combat and fighting enemies, the various types, sometimes I would quickly leave an area after just combing through the enemies to just go back in the area to check something. Enemies respawned in the same place. Feels a little bit forced, like it would have been nicer to have a more grace period of time before enemies respawn in that same place that I just vanquished. I get it. What, so you want the enemies to be gone permanently? No, I'm not saying that, but just a little bit of more time before they come back. So, a little annoying. I find myself sometimes I'm just running through. I don't care if you hit me. I'm going to go there. Like, okay. But those are kind of like my isolated moments of, not the most fun, not the best. But that doesn't take away from so much excellence. And that's why my final score for Metroid Prime 4 Beyond was a 9.5 out of 10. I was thinking throughout this quest, what is this game going to be? Because I am loving so much of it. But very little was getting in the way of the adventure being perfect. But also, to be perfect or a 10 isn't just a game that doesn't have any flaws or gripes, but it has to be on a whole nother level of excellence for me to be like 10, because a game could be excellent, no real flaws, but if it's not of that upper true echelon of, oh my gosh, wonder, hard for me to give it a 10, I'll give it like a 9.7 or something like that. But yeah, 10 is a little bit more special. Donkey Kong Bonanza got a 10 from me this year, though. But yeah, Metroid Prime 4 Beyond, it's not a bad game. Anyone that says it's a bad game, to be fair, if they played it, beat it, fine, and their opinion is their own and it's valid. I think they're wrong, but at least they have an opinion. But a lot of people are hating just to hate, didn't even play it, yet they say it's bad. Your opinion is worthless. You don't have an opinion. You don't get to have one because you didn't play it. So you have no ownership in your words because you don't have anything to back it up, You forgot about Dust Bloods. Yeah, it's going to be a big one next year. Joycey says, Octopath has taken over all my gaming time, and I can't recommend it enough. The stories have depth and emotion. Yes, the stories are dark, but so damn good. Yeah, I remember, Joycey, the other day you were saying that it's a 5-star title for you so far. Looks like it's still there, which is awesome to hear. Oh, guy was making corn on Nintendo's dime. Nintendo will bring back classic game and make it into Switch 2 port. Switch 2 would be the fever dream. If only we get Switch 2 Lite. I think something like that will happen. Tomb Raider will be revealed at the Game Awards, yeah. I'm looking forward to new Tomb Raider. I have always liked the Tomb Raider franchise, but I really enjoyed the gameplay and the sophistication that this most recent Tomb Raider trilogy brought us. Can't wait for Sonic at the Game Awards. Just finished Ice Belt in Prime form. That and Volt Forge were honestly really fun to me. Yeah, Waffle Boy, Awful Boy. That's good. Both those areas were dope. The retraversal aspect was so much fun too. Man, going back to these areas now with your new powers, stronger than before, but enemies being stronger, like that's what I'm talking about. It was such a reward collecting and beefing up Samus's inventory. Dude, she was so dope by the end. Loved it. No, well, no, I don't want to say what famous move of hers wasn't in the game. Yeah. So there were a couple of things that she didn't do that she could do in many games, but she could also do other things that she couldn't do before either. So, yeah. New Sonic game and Mega Man reveal. Yeah, Capcom is talking about Mega Man lately. I'd like to see Frontiers 2 or the next mainline Sonic game at the Game Awards, especially after how much I like Shadow Gens. Nice. I like the Frontiers as well, despite how flawed the game is. Classic term. Yes. Sequels. Frontier map portal tomorrow. Frontier needs Switch to K-pop Demon Hunter. Possible a Game Awards next year. Or this year, maybe. Huddy 40. Prime 4 is my favorite Switch 2 exclusive. My only nitpick is I wish scanning was slightly faster, especially faster for scanning enemies. Yeah. Or some kind of little visual, a small little thing on screen that would like highlight what needs to be scanned to help you not miss. Kind of like how you get the scouter robot later on when you activate it and it shows you what is in the environment that you did not yet collect. That's a collectible. Something like that to be like, hey, look over here. Here's what could use a scanning. That could be helpful too. I missed one scan in the entire game. See, I got 100% items, 200% shards, 92% scans. Oh well. The slight difference in ending isn't that big of a deal. You know, I saw my ending and then I saw the better ending on YouTube. The better ending is better. That Samus Aran model is beautiful, dude. It's such a nice looking model. Gosh. They nailed it. They nailed it. Oh, the level of quality is so good. Death Stranding. Did you know that Sonic Colors Ultimate plays more different with colors and environments in Switch 2? Yes. Evo 2026. Invincible will appear. Being negative is an industry online now. A lot of people like to be negative, and there's no need to. Hi, Paul. I feel better now. Great to hear that, Johan, Nintendo News. I'm happy that you're here. I'm happy you're feeling better. Why couldn't we get a new Looney Tunes game and its platformer like so recent? It's possible. Still a franchise that's viable, maybe. Will Game Awards show God of War adaptation trailer? A first look at the God of War TV series. That would be cool. Or God of War, like OG remake. That'd be cool too. God of War. Is that Sony's most rich IP overall? Probably. I think when you picture, like, who's the face of Sony? Do you go Astrobot? You know, Aloy, Nathan Drake, Kratos, Jak and Daxter, Sly Cooper, Ratchet and Clank, a car from Gran Turismo. You go Kratos. I think Kratos is, yeah, he is the character of Sony. Can't say Spider-Man. Spider-Man's through Marvel, through Disney, that's part of Sony, but like that's not theirs. Yeah. I miss Uncharted. I'm glad that we got Uncharted while we did. It's a great franchise. I've had fun with every main entry, 1, 2, 3, 4, and then the spin-off game. I forgot what the spin-off title was called, but with the 2 women. That was a great one too. Just forgot the title of that one. What was the spin-off? Love them all 5 of those. Great ones in my opinion. But yeah, then they went with The Last of Us, also great, but a very different type of good, And I don't know if they'll go back to Uncharted again. I mean, they said that wasn't the intention, but I could see them revisiting it one day. But one thing that I don't think Sony will ever completely abandon is God of War. I think Kratos is here to stay. And as long as they have good ties with Marvel and Insomniac, then we're going to get a Spider-Man 3, we'll get a Venom, we're going to get Wolverine. I would love for Insomniac, this is going to be a long one, but to give them some time and release a modern day, as good of quality as the Spider-Man series has been, full-on X-Men game. X-Men with a beautiful story that's modern and mature, but has a lot of elements from the past, kind of like how the Arkham trilogy was its own thing, but felt like at times that you're watching a mature live, CG looking take on the Batman animated series from Fox back in the day, which is kind of like what Spider-Man feels like too, a modern take on that Fox formula, but just better. But dude, do that for Spidey? Do that for Wolverine? Now, give it to us for X-Men? X-Men is an IP that I adore. That would be, if it turned out great, probably a top 10 game for me, because I just am a big X-Men fan, Yeah. Oh, let's see. I get that when I'm grading history papers, students will ask, why did I get an 85% if there were no problems? And you have to find a way to explain the difference between great and top of the line. Good point. Yeah, something could be very good and no problems, but not necessarily does that make it a 10. Metroid Prime 4 was great, excellent, very few problems. But even without those little few things, I don't think I would have given it a 10. Yeah. Even if I didn't have that one die, and part of that problem is, well, that's a you thing. You could have been good. You could have not died. You could have paid attention to your health a little bit better and not got electrocuted by those stairs that clearly you're losing health. Oh well, you could have just scanned more or not chosen to scan. It's optional. So what if you don't get the 100% ending? Not complaining. Yeah, the enemies come back. That's just the thing. No, the enemies in the desert are just what they were. Now we do make them random on purpose. I mean, some of those things, like I said, not enough to ruin the game at all. But if those things were a little bit different, and the game also just a little bit hitting better, then could it have been a 10? Yeah, you know. But I'm confident with my score. At least I played it to have an opinion. Some jokers are just like, yeah, the game sucks. Oh, so you didn't like it? Well, what did you give it out of 10? And how many hours did it take you to beat? And like, what kind of completion did you have? I didn't play it. So it sucks and you didn't play it? Why bother talking? uh, whatever. Well, let people talk. It's okay. Scanning out of combat should be faster. Scanning in combat feels slow. Add something. I'm hoping for Knights of the Old Republic showing at the Game Awards. KOTOR. 30 likes. Nice, Pokemon Fan 34. Thank you for bringing that to our attention. 30 likes and 41 people watching. Heck yeah. Welcome, everyone. Hope you're having a good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good day, wherever you are watching. Horizon, maybe. Yeah, Horizon's building up to being something. People have been angry since Switch 2 release and has barely died down since, you know, a vocal minority. Yeah. Tigerusus, Kratos, or Last of Us. I think Kratos, yeah. Kratos, but they're trying for Aloy. Bye, Pokemon Fan 34. A lot of Sony IP isn't all that, in your opinion. It took a while for Sony to get IP. They relied a lot on third parties during that PS1 era. And then in PS2, it's like, okay, well, we've got this Kratos guy now. And, you know, Insomniac Games, they weren't owned by Sony at the time, but they were making Ratchet and Clank, you know. And yeah, Sony made a good acquisition choice with them. Great studio. Hey, Paul, did you play Wind Waker when it released on Switch 2? I'm playing right now. Oh, hey, Michael. Or Mitch Begel. I played a little bit of the Wind Waker on the NSO when it dropped on Nintendo Switch 2, just to, like, play and have that fun little, you know, nostalgia. But I didn't play through it. I played through it back on the day on the GameCube. But not this time now playing through it all. But I'm glad you're having a good time with it. I hope you are. It's a wonderful game. I will love a new Ratchet and Clank. Yeah, Louie. Me too. We'll get another one within several years, I'm sure. Small Little Man, hello there. Maybe a better Hulk game since Ultimate Destruction. I wouldn't mind a new Hulk. Man, I wouldn't mind a lot of things. Artisan James, about halfway through Prime 4. I don't have a lot of complaints so far. Really loving the game. Even the Soul Valley section. That's what I'm talking about. Soul Valley is fun. And it looks good. When you look at it from afar and you're racing, you're like, yeah, it's a little bit plain. But guess what? It's also a desert. But when you're just looking at the screen, running around, or driving over it and just looking like, no, the stand is good quality. The polygons and the textures, the mapping is there. It is solid. It's just sparse because it's a desert. But it's fine. In order to appreciate the sense of speed that you get, they delivered it okay. And it doesn't take long to get to. From the bottommost right portion to the topmost left portion, I just went there in one track, 2 minutes. That's how long it takes to go through the whole map, diagonally. That's not a lot of wasted time in the desert. People are exaggerating. Or they're all worked up over nothing. Or they don't know what... Yeah, they don't know what real adversity is. So a little inconvenience to them is... trauma. When it's really not. But I'm glad you're having fun. Keep enjoying it. If Prime 4 had a different name and it was a Sony exclusive, it'd be a 90 plus Metacritic. You know, Huddy, I was making that same kind of comment, not exactly saying Sony game, but if it wasn't Samus, if it wasn't Metroid, if it wasn't Silux, but everything else was what it was, would people have said, like, this is a cool game, whoa. Yeah, that's a 9, that's a whatever. Or is it, oh, it's not my Metroid? Then I gotta ruin the score because it's not my Metroid, what I want from my Metroid. Now, if you didn't like it regardless, that's fine. But just to say it's not my Metroid, that doesn't deserve a lowering of the score. No, that's your fault. You know? I think both new 3D Mario and 3D Zelda from the ground up for Nintendo Switch 2 are a ways off. 2027, 2028? I don't know about that. I could see, I mean, you could be right, but I could see something drop in fall 2027 from one of those two at least. Or fall 2026, I mean, from one of those two at least. Michelle Begel, or Mitch. Oh, why did I say Michelle? Mitch, because the L. Mitch Begel joined that PGN white belt tier. Thank you, Mitch Begel. And welcome to the white belt tier. Thank you for joining. Getting us on the board here. I'm glad you found the channel, and thank you for subscribing, and thank you for becoming a member. Awesome. Woo! Indeed. Small Little Man says, someone made a PS1 port of Mario 64, and it's crazy how much more powerful the N64 is when you look at them side by side. Yeah. Insomniac has carried PS5, in my opinion. True. 17 million. Yeah. So, it did not hit Nana Shiko Taro 6217. Nintendo Switch 2 has not hit 17 million yet. I'm saying, do y'all think it can? Because 15 million early into December means that you've got your work cut out for you to hit 17 by December 31st, but it's not impossible. 17.5, I think, is quite optimistic, but is possible. 17.5 means that Nintendo would do like 7.34 million in the quarter, which would be a big, beefy number, but is doable. If they only hit 16, that would make it a little under what their own projections are. Still a respectable amount. I mean, that's still hitting, 5.64 million or something like that. Still a badass quarter. A nice 16.7 million, though. Okay. 16.7 million. Good 6.44 million or something like that. Quite strong. So, if I had to just say, I'd say, 16.7 million is what Nintendo Switch 2 ends up this year with. But 17 would be awesome, wouldn't it, Nanashiko? Hopefully. Mitch Bagel, do you like the Half-Life series? Yeah, Half-Life is good. I haven't played the first-person VR only entry. What was it, Alex? But Half-Life and Half-Life 2. Oh, I mean, along with, on the side, Portal. Great games. Half-Life 2 was an amazing one. Half-Life 2, man, it has been a while now. The orange box, in particular, was a beautiful set. That's really how I played, excuse me, Half-Life 2 on Xbox 360 back in the day. Soul Valley overall is more empty than it is populated, so I feel there should be more to do and find. But what there is to do and find has been quite satisfying. That's how I'm looking at it. Yeah, there are some things to find and do in it. Perhaps it could have benefited from more things. But yeah, it delivered. I remember hearing it surpassed Wii U lifetime. Yes, it did that too. It passed Wii U's 13 point something million. Yeah, a little bit of a while ago. I think people complain for the engagement. Yeah. You know, it's a weird thing. Like when children act out to get attention. It's like, you want to get in trouble? You just want attention. You want to be noticed by your teacher, by your friend, by your mom, dad, eventually a boyfriend, girlfriend. You just are crying out for help. People online, it's like, if nobody hears me for my words of wisdom, if nobody is acknowledging me for something that I'm passionate about, that passion for what I'm about turns into dislike for something that counters my passion or rivals it. So instead of speaking up the good of something that I like, let me speak on the hate that I have for something that I dislike or is my antagonist. Oh, that's getting me attention? Let me start barking louder. That's a lot of people for you. Only babies online act like that. Dad, that was the baby reference earlier, huh? Zabikin, do you know if Prime 4 is doing okay sales-wise? I don't know yet. I don't have any numbers yet. Tomorrow I'll have my first number, and then I might be able to get something after that. All I do know is that what we have seen so far is game is doing well on Amazon. Game is doing well on the eShops. Oh, game physically is only 15% behind Metroid Dread in UK. But digitally, we have to assume that it's higher. But that's an assumption. Tomorrow morning, however, we will get the Famitsu sales chart, that data from Japan. Now, Japan's not going to be the best indicator of how well it's doing in the world because Japan typically doesn't buy first-person perspective games as much as the West does. And Metroid doesn't do all that well in Japan. But if we have a respectable opening for Metroid Prime 4 Beyond in Japan, both on Nintendo Switch and Nintendo Switch 2, physical alone, we could extrapolate a bit of that data and say, you're going to be looking at that plus significantly more that made up, Australia, United States, and beyond. But we'll see. I don't know yet. Not too long after Metroid Dread came out, I knew within the how many hundreds of thousands it sold. And then later on, it was made public like a day later, That was beautiful timing. Have you ever been to Japan? Mitch Begel asks. No, I have not. Would like to. I'd like to go one of these days. The closest I got to going, well, 2 different times. Once when I was competing in Shotokan Karate, I was close to going to Japan to compete in the world tournament there. Another time that I was close to was pre-COVID. I was going to go to the Super Nintendo World opening in Japan. COVID hit, park got delayed, world got shut down, and then I've never been. I think I'll go. I'll go one day though. Maybe with a family, some like a big trip. Hit up the Nintendo Museum. That'll be one of the things got to do. Do some training. Yeah, that'd be pretty cool. Maybe the Metroid purists need to start buying 10 copies each. I think that 8 years really hurt Prime 4 to the point where people were expecting the best Metroid game in the world, and it's just not realistic. I mean, hopefully people all this time weren't just saying, I really want this game and I have blinders on to the rest of the world. Because if you look at that from anything in life, probably nothing is going to satisfy you completely. You should be an open book and accepting movies and books and comics and graphic novels and TV shows, new songs, movie theater experience, sports teams, video games, different genres from different developers, different designers, different fashion, different clothes, different brands of shoes, different foods, different restaurants. Be diverse in your tastes. Different martial art, different form of exercise, different friend, a new place to go. Try bowling, try an arcade, try putting golf. Like, then you could have those things that you're looking forward to most. But if you're having fun with everything, it's not like the only thing I'm looking forward to in life is this one thing, and if it doesn't deliver, I'm going to be miserable. That's what some people make out of their life. Don't do that. If that's you, and you said, I've been waiting 18 years for Metroid Prime 4, then yeah, the game's not going to deliver 18 years worth of hype. But come on, is that really anyone? Or were you like, oh, in between, I played Metroid Samus Returns, I played Metroid Other M, I played Breath of the Wild and Super Mario Odyssey, and I played Xenoblade Chronicles 3, and I also got, Donkey Kong Bonanza. Oh, and there was Uncharted 4. Oh, well, yeah, and Halo Infinite came out, and here's my Metroid Prime 4 Beyond. Wow, cool. Like, be hyped for things, but don't become so hyper fixated that your world collapses if it's not 100% everything that you wanted. It could still be badass. RV 1987. Your opinion on Metroid Prime 4? I loved it. I gave it a 9.5, and I'm very happy with that score. It wasn't a 10. Very few things are. And a 10 doesn't have to necessarily mean it is perfect without flaw. But it has to be pretty damn close to perfect with no flaw on these like technical aspects and stuff like that. But also be monstrously good that I just was overwhelmed with joy. And yeah, nothing about it gave me any gripe. And, then that's a 10 for me, But Metroid Prime 4 Beyond was a 9.5 and was super fun, really engaging, beautiful graphics, excellent art design, amazing music, great special effects, cool combat. Oh, I will say this, on combat, I would have liked two little things. One is combat related. A quick little melee button. Enemy too close, bam! Lift up my arm cannon and smack it out of the way. Or a nice kick. Something like that. Two, an ability to at least temporarily run faster. Yeah. But like you see, these things aren't degenerates that, lower the game to like a 6. Yeah, it's barely above mediocre. I don't know how some people are reviewing the game. Did we even play the same thing? I understand how not everyone is a 9.5 on it. That's fine. When I'm reading the words of some people, I'm like, oh no, your words conveyed that you also had a great game with beautiful cinematic score and you appreciated all the positive things, but you didn't like the bike as much as me. You thought it could have been a little longer. You had too much trouble with this area that to you it wasn't a skill-based issue, it was a game issue. For me it was like it was a get good kind of thing for me. And your score was like an 8, 8.5. Totally respectable. You liked it for what it was because so much of it is a really freaking good game. You just didn't like it as much. And the things that kind of, for me was like, this is a little bit thing, that hit you a little harder. And you also saw a little more that I didn't, that didn't bother me, that bothered you. And that's why your score is an 8 to 8.5. Understandable. But the folks that you read the reviews and they hated it, and it's just like trash, and it's like, 3 out of 10, or barely mediocre, or a 6. I'm like, how? they either really didn't play it or they're just not a good reviewer. Christmas is coming. I think it's possible to get close to 17 million. Not every child got a day one. A lot of children, a lot of adults are still without a Nintendo Switch 2. And it is going to be something definitely wanted for the holidays. It will probably be the best Christmas console, sales-wise. I kind of miss movie/show tie-in games. Yeah, those were fun. Sure, most of them were bad, but there were some real gems hidden there. You know, I just did a video on it recently. Alien 3's King Kong. Peter Jackson's King Kong, the official game of the movie, was excellent. A couple of the Lord of the Rings games, Matrix, Path of Neo. Of course, GoldenEye 007. There's some gems over the years. Published. What's up, Paul? Did you pre-order the NSO Virtual Boy? Heck yeah, I did. Got it last night. I was debating, should I get the actual one and the cardboard, or just the actual one? I just got the actual one. I have my Labo VR cardboard. And that's fine. I can't wait for the Virtual Boy. I'm going to hook it up and have it here. I will use it, but I'm mostly in it because I want that collector's piece. I never owned a Virtual Boy. Played it. Friend rented it. Played it. Another friend, I bought it. I bought a Virtual Boy once, but I bought it for my friend, whom paid me back and stuff. But yeah, so I've played it a good several times, but never owned one. So I miss the aesthetic. It's not a piece of merch that I have proudly displayed in the house. And I kind of still won't, but this is basically a one-to-one replica, so I'm going to proudly display this Virtual Boy somewhere in this game room. It'd be pretty sweet. We've got 53 people watching, by the way. Thank you all for being here right now. If you're new to this channel, I mean, we are a video game channel primarily, and one of the things that we do unique on these streams is, you know, nobody needs to pay for this content. It's free entertainment. But if you do subscribe, if you become a member, if you do a donation, a super chat, or gift some people memberships, we get to a Nintendo $64 total as a goal. And whenever we get to a $64 total, I give $10 right back to the community by rolling a wheel, and somebody in the chat gets a $10 eShop card. So for every 64 I make, I give 10 back. We have given out 3 gift cards on the channel before when we hit, 164, 128, close to $200. Like, yeah, we've given out multiple gift cards. The next gift we're going to give out, like if we hit $64 today, actually will be for something better technically than a $10 eShop card. It will be a 3-pack Super Mario 3D All-Stars coin set provided by Roger Enyart, and that's worth like $22, so that's today's kind of a little gift. Playing Metroid Prime 4 is fun. Very good to hear. Video Game History Foundation and MegaCat Studios are teaming up to bring back NES. Oh, bring back a lost NES games. I went to Japan Summit Cosplay last year. Cool. Peach is doing well, thank you. She's sleeping right now. I am very much enjoying Metroid Prime 4 right now in the fire area. Excellent. I will hyperfixate on the next Monolith game. If I'm disappointed because there are no jokes about eating Tatsu, that's on me. I do feel it's being overly critical. I am between an 8.5 and a 9, depending on how the rest of it turns out for me. Yeah, fair, respectable. Melee, corkscrew, or screw attack. Yeah, melee attack similar to Dread would have been nice. So close to the end of my workday. Thanks for going live and keeping us company in the meantime. Thank you for being here. I hope you have a good rest of the workday, Jordan. Faster than B plus B dashing. So, about as fast as that, but instead of lateral, forward traversing. It's a solid 8. There's influence from all three Prime games in Prime 4, and even Retro Studios implementing that Zelda feel, yes. David Patterson, hey Paul in chat. 40 plus likes, yes we are. An 8 seems fine. This is essentially a new game. How many of these people were there 18 years ago? Criticism should be constructive and not make me want to barf and cancel my internet. Yeah. Cannibal Games. Doing a second playthrough on hard. Prime 4 is easily my favorite game on Switch 2 and may even edge out other games in the Prime trilogy. The dungeons, boss fights, visuals, controls, and music are top notch. Well said. What do you give it out of 10, by the way? Cannibal Games. Keep in mind, this is my 1 through 10. 1, absolute garbage, trash, doesn't work, unplayable. You turn it on, barely loads. Forget about voice acting. It's got garbledness, right? Controls wonky. I mean, like it's stuttering as you're moving. Unplayable mess. 10, immaculate, amazing, perfect, as close as perfect can be. Flawless in nearly every category. 5, a mediocre experience. Neither good nor bad, but average in terms of your overall entertainment. 3, bad. It's not a good game. It is broken. It's got sloppy lines of dialogue, a boring story, clunky controls, irresponsive nature, bad loading, poor graphics, not fun. 7, good. It's fun. It's got some redeeming qualities. Good gameplay, you know, pretty nice voice acting. It's fun and good visuals. Yeah. And then adjust accordingly. What do you give Metro Prime 4 Beyond? For me, it was a 9.5. It was excellent. It was better than a 9, which is like beyond great. You know, excellent. I loved it. I could love something that's an 8.5 or a 9, but I really loved it. Yeah, that's 9.5 for me. We rented a Virtual Boy back in the day, and it was such an odd experience at the time. Yeah, Huddy. Virtual Boy was an interesting thing, but it was cool. Like, it's just fun, man. It's different. I appreciate Nintendo's weird innovations, you know, whether they work and catch off like wildfire or back to the drawing board. I appreciate their wizardry and their tinkeringness to try to capture magic, you know. I wonder if Virtual Boy Peripheral will work with the Breath of the Wild stereoscopic mode, and if so, will that open up new avenues for Switch 2? That would be interesting. Yeah, that'd be interesting. I pre-ordered the Virtual Boy as well. I've never had or even seen one in person. I'm very intrigued. That's cool. Pokemon Fan 34, you got one too? Awesome. For real though, nobody would have ever felt bad for the dolphin if they knew dolphin's true nature. A 10 out of 10 filled with cute waifu characters. What? 10,000 Doodles. I read that out of context. I'm not sure what game. It's funny when I just read a comment, I'm like, I don't know what that was in reference to. Not Metro Prime 4, just saying how the scale could go beyond 10. Oh, I see. Yeah. Will the PS2 hold on to this title as the best-selling console of all time? It won't, Coley York, as long as Nintendo doesn't halt all of a sudden manufacturing of Nintendo Switch 2s, then PS2 won't hold on to the title. If Nintendo cuts supply, doesn't make any new ones, then yeah, PS2 will, of course. Otherwise, Nintendo Switch recently hit 155 million. It'll wind up being a little bit more than 155 million for the year. I mean, maybe 155.5, 155.3, we'll see, but it'll be a little bit north of 155 for 2025. And I'm anticipating that as long as Nintendo continues to manufacture them, you're still going to have several 100,000 sell per quarter. Every quarter. A year from now, another close to 1 million. Another few 100,000 per quarter. And then you're looking at summer of 2027. NS is going to edge over 160. You asked me how accurate I could be. I saw extremely early into the Nintendo Switch reveal. I went full on back in October of 2016, looking at the metrics for how the trailer did, looking at the past sales data of all Nintendo systems, factoring in console chatter, YouTube searchability, hype going into a system, the average sales data between Nintendo's home consoles and portable consoles per generations for years to come, the rapid decline in Wii from its peak 4 years to a little bit of a slower last two, how Wii U did, the metrics going into Wii U versus the metrics going into Nintendo Switch. And sometime between that October 2016 and, I kid you not, May of 2017, I said Nintendo Switch has the potential of being a 160 to 210 million system. I knew it then, and I played it very unsafe by making a bold claim to say it could go up to 210. And you could Google search the heck out of it, and you could probably see many, depending on how accurate Google is, many times that I have typed in someone's live stream, said on a podcast, typed in someone's podcast, said it on my live stream, typed on X or on YouTube or in a comment section, or that some YouTuber or someone has read my quote from an article, something that I posted on social media, on my website, that I typed out on their channel, dropped in a super chat, whatever, in a forum that I've said for years, for 9 years now, 160 to 210 is the window for Nintendo Switch. 210 if everything goes well, and almost everything did go well, but what did not happen was a $100 model at this point, which would be something like a Nintendo Switch Mini or a Nintendo Switch Micro. What didn't happen was a massive worldwide permanent price drop. Instead, what happened was tariffs. What didn't happen was a permanently reduced Player's Choice or Nintendo Select's line of software. But what did happen was non-stop games, development, support from first parties, third parties, a revised model being an OLED one, a revised model being a light. And what could still happen is an eventual micro, an eventual Player's Choice line, an eventual overall price drop. And what will happen is continued eventual support. So yeah, my 160 is going to pave through. Oh, and I also said in order to hit this 210, you have to penetrate India, and you have to have better, more continued growth in China. The China thing happened, but not yet to what I need it to, and India just hasn't happened yet. So, yeah. When I talk numbers, not to be cocky or conceited or too egotistical, but that's something that I am well versed in, So, unless Nintendo just stops manufacturing, 160 is going to be achievable by end of summer 2027. If you did ask me, back in that like October through May timeframe, I had it originally as June 30th, 2026, we will see that 160. I then gave myself like another, 13 or so months because I didn't know just when Nintendo Switch 2 would come out. when Nintendo Switch 2 was on the verge of coming out, I'm like, okay, it will have an impact, but NS will continue to sell. I'm giving myself another year for that 160. Cannonball games. I'd give it at least a 9.8. Excellent. Only a few other games give the dungeon gameplay and feeling of a Metroid Prime game. Maybe only Zelda, older Darksiders games, although of lower quality, but have some of that gameplay design feel. Sony will pump up the PS2 number by an imaginary 5 or 10 million. I mean, they can't at this point. Well, they can, but I don't think they will. Surprised more people didn't expect it when they were combining both arms into one. Yeah, I mean, that should have been the tell. It's like you add up Wii and DS and divide by 2, insane numbers. But even if you take that away, you add up Wii U and 3DS and divide by 2, it's respectable. Take Super Nintendo and Game Boy divided by 2, great. N64 and Game Boy Color divided by 2, awesome. Nintendo GameCube and Game Boy Advance divided by 2, great. You take Nintendo Switch and look at it independently, great. You're going to look at Nintendo Switch 2, guess what? It's going to be great. You look at NES solo, great. When did sales go down per console? After NES. What happened? They released 2 systems per generation. But if you look at the combined sales, those combined sales do top NES. Yeah, home console went doo, 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 boom, boom, boom. And then now we're having another boom, you know? But part of that is thanks to the competition from more varied, also attractive home consoles, but also if it comes from Nintendo's their own doing of you got a popular portable per generation. So where's the balance? Now it's back to the balance all being on one system, Nintendo Switch 2. Where do you think Nintendo Switch 2 will land? A little more time will be needed to be seen on that, because it definitely has the possibility of matching Nintendo Switch. There are some unknowns, but these unknowns are kind of every generation, because even when I came up with my old number for Nintendo Switch, I was also comparing Nintendo Switch with when it came out in the life of PS4 and Xbox One, and I was not anticipating a sequel to PS4 and Xbox One until further removed from Nintendo Switch, which that was the case. Nintendo Switch, excuse me, competed longer against PS5 and Xbox Series before Nintendo Switch's own successor came out than Nintendo Switch did against PS4 and Xbox One. I don't yet know, now that Nintendo Switch 2 is out, will Nintendo Switch 2 compete against PS5 and Xbox Series for longer than it will their successors? I don't think that's the case. I think those successors are not, 5 years away, 4 years away. But it does help a little bit more with them coming out a little bit later. But I am anticipating Nintendo Switch 2 at least being a 127 million unit system, which is the drop off from NES to Super NES. That is, if Nintendo Switch hits 160, then the drop off from 160 to 127 is comparable to NES to Super Nintendo. However, I realistically think it's going to be better than a 127 because, like I said earlier, part of that drop off of NES to Super NES was thanks to Game Boy also being around. It's a fellow competitor even to the Super Nintendo at the time. You can't buy both systems necessarily. So I think Nintendo Switch 2 stands a better chance at having less of a drop off from NES than Super Nintendo did to the Nintendo Entertainment System. So I think that in the end, it will do quite comparable to what Nintendo Switch does. And you can make the argument, but you've got more competition now from Steam Deck. You've got more competition from other manufacturers. What about the Xbox ROG Ally X? That's all true. What if Sony releases a simultaneous PlayStation 6 home console and a PlayStation 6 portable? Well, are they making you buy both? Can you buy one or the other? Is it going to be one that plays both and that could do both? What's the price factor? We're also at a little bit of an untimely manner, or an unknown time, I should say, when it comes to tariffs, something that I didn't have to factor into my algorithm of sales projections back in, like late 2016, early 2017. Tariffs change things. Microchip shortage, that changes things as well. Prices going up for systems for the first time. That's something that I didn't have to deal with back in the day. Every system normally goes down. And this time, everybody got affected. Nintendo Switch, 8 years in. PlayStation 5, Xbox Series, all went up. Those are unknown waters, so I don't yet have a final sales projection for NS2, but 127 bare minimum, I think it will do better. But yeah, it's a lot of thought, a lot of process goes into it, The Switch one recently had a price hike. Yeah, I was just talking about that. I think that's the one thing that bothers some people with Prime 4. It feels like Zelda. I like that part. I like Zelda games. I mean, the hubs and dungeons instead of interconnected areas. The areas themselves were really good though too. Sony already uses the before the 160 million number. I wish Sony just and Xbox, Sega, everybody. I just wish that everybody just did what Nintendo did with their once every 3-month report. You round up to the nearest 10,000th spot, and that's how you keep it accurate. And you say, yeah, we're at 15.14. We're at 21.65. We're at 155.81. We're at 159.66. And even the PS2, 160. Is it 160.33? 160 point what? Surely not 160 even. And I don't need even, but to the 10,000s position. 160 million, 140,000. I wanted to see it say 160.14. You know what I mean? Whatever. Oh, it's 160.89. It's about as close to 161 as we could get. What do you think of the PlayStation handheld that is upcoming? I think it could be big. Could be good. Xbox successor? You mean PS6 and Switch 2? Ooh! Yeah. That's another factor. By Xbox going down, it likely bodes well for Sony and Nintendo going up. By Nintendo being bigger and more powerful, it means less of a need to buy a PlayStation if Nintendo is going to be getting the vast majority. If you've got a Nintendo that is back on to having Call of Duty and Madden and potentially gets Grand Theft Auto, while you're still getting Zelda, Mario, getting a surprise Donkey Kong, a Metroid early on, a Pokemon early on, with another Pokemon on the way that's probably going to be the biggest departure yet visually and transformatively in Gen 10, and who knows what other surprises, and even more third-party support. Oh, Nintendo Switch 2 sales. Sky's the limit. PS Portable will come when the media starts its glazing campaign hailing it the Switch killer. We're all on Xbox now, even though my name isn't green. Just like they did with the Vita. Sorry, I'm back. How to take a call. Welcome back, Joyce and Jay. And also welcome back to being a member for 3 months now with that Green Ranger badge. I like it. The AI RAM price stuff is going to be a factor. Yep. Oh. 167.69. Make it the most obnoxious number. Oh. Best Buy currently has a deal for their Plus/Total members. If you buy $200 or more in Switch/Switch 2 digital games, you get a $35 eShop card. It's pretty good. That's 17.5% discount right there. 17.5% savings. That's good. That's a good way to make some money back. Jordan, how to use consoles in circulation count towards sales? I'm assuming they don't. Yeah, they don't. If 10 million people buy a Nintendo Switch 2, let's say 500,000 return it to a store, like the GameStop or something, and then another 2 million new Nintendo Switch 2s sell, as well as those 500,000 that were used ones given back, the number is 12 million. It's not 12.5. You know, it's still 12 at that point, because the used don't help Nintendo out anymore. They already made that money from the retailer that one time. They already got that sale into that consumer's home. What the consumer happens to do with it, they do. So yeah. My prediction for Switch 2 is 130 million lifetime, but I could see plus or around age 25 from that point as an estimate. Yeah, 130 is, you know, that's right in my ballpark of 127. And yeah, I like 130. And like I said, I think it will do better than 127 because unlike the Super NES fall off from NES, because NES had less competition in what was out at the time than Super Nintendo did. Super Nintendo had competition with itself, with Game Boy. Nintendo Switch 2 will have competition, of course, from PlayStation 6, but less competition because there isn't another Nintendo system it's competing against, and also less competition because I don't think Xbox is going to do that well next gen in terms of competing for money, competing for sales from folks. It's going to be kind of weird. I made a couple of claims in addition to this whole Nintendo Switch thing. I said, one thing I ended up being, well, it's too early to say, but I think I'm going to be wrong on one. One thing right, one thing wrong. One thing I said is, I don't necessarily think that PS5 is going to end up selling in the end quite as much as PS4. But part of that reason was because Nintendo Switch is a stronger competitor to what will be PS5 and Xbox Series than Wii U was to PS4 and Xbox One. 2, eventually Nintendo Switch 2 will come out, also taking away some sales from PS5. And also, I think that Xbox Series is going to be a stronger competitor to Sony this time than Xbox One was to PS4. All of those other statements I said were true, except for that last one. Xbox Series, I thought, was going to do better than Xbox One. I don't think it is anymore. But we'll see. That one, I could end up being wrong. But I'm like, I thought originally Xbox Series will do a little bit better than Xbox One, but still be distant to Sony, and that PS5 will still be far and away above Xbox Series, but just not quite as high as 4. Time will tell. I mean, GTA 5 came out end of PS3, Xbox 360 life, kicked off PS4, Xbox One. Grand Theft Auto 6 is coming out pretty late, 6 years into the life of PS5, Xbox Series. It's going to be a big boost regardless. It'll still be a boost for Xbox, not a giant one, but it still will be. It will be a boost for PlayStation 5. You could see still there is a demand for PlayStation 5, even at 5 years old. Sony has a nice looking temporary drop in sales, and they win Black Friday. Now, did they win the month of November? I don't know. And if they win the month of November, worldwide for the month, or just United States and Europe? Well, I could tell you they didn't win November in Japan. I already actually know that, Mark. You know what I mean? I know that fact. Nintendo Switch 2 outsold PlayStation 5 in Japan big time in November. But overall in the world, I don't know that number yet, But, yeah, PS5 is still a strong system. And I think it's going to have a fine 2026. It'll slowly start selling less and less. But GTA 6 is going to be a very, very big moment for it. But will GTA 6 be a big moment for Nintendo Switch 2 as well? That remains to be seen. Lots of little factors. As good as we could be with analyzing things, as accurate as I might be, I don't know the timing. I don't know the release of all this stuff. Something crazy radical could happen. I mean, Sony could buy Capcom, totally shake up the industry. What? There goes your Resident Evil and Mega Man, Ghouls and Ghosts, Street Fighter. Man. Okami, Onimusha, Lost Planet. There goes a lot. Only in Sony's territory now. Yeah, that's going to hit. That's going to change up things. Heck, Nintendo could buy Capcom. Woo! I'm not saying I want Capcom to be bought. I like Capcom being a third party. But yeah, talk about a powerful move and how much that would change things. I don't know of those types of plans, right? So there's definitely a lot that could happen one way or another that could radically shift things and change up the sales projection a lot. So for as good as I might be with numbers, for as much as I could read a room and look at the past and look at the foreseeable future, I don't know the future. I'm an analyst, but I'm a gaming enthusiast too. I love this stuff. And I have loved talking to you all this morning. Make sure, by the way, you use these things. What do I mean? You've got emotes like Paul Gale Network right here, dropping that green banner saying, "Here's to good gaming." Yeah, here's to good gaming. It's funny. I don't know why it popped up, but one time when I signed into YouTube, it was like, "Do you want to become a member to the channel?" I'm like, am I not a member on my own channel? Wait, you even have the opportunity to buy a membership for your own channel? How does that work? Who gets the money? I'm spending money on myself? So, hold on a second. I don't get 100% of the money from YouTube. YouTube takes like a 30% cut. So I'm spending $1 a month to become a member to my channel, but I'm going to make 70 cents back. So is my membership 30 cents a month? I guess so. Oh no, I'm a PGN black belt. Oh, my membership is different membership, isn't it? Oh yeah, I guess so. I'm the only black belt. I guess so. Yeah. But I was like, oh, well, I'm not an OG member then? Dang it. If I knew that, I would have subscribed to myself day one and been a day one member. Instead, here I only have a 2-month membership thing, you know? Dang. I should have a 4-month membership. I started streaming regularly in August. That's when I would have joined the PGN Live membership. But yeah, one of these days when I signed in a couple of months ago, I was like, do you want to be a member? Well, yeah. Am I not? I am the member. So I did. I'm like, oh, okay. Let's see. I recently bought the Switch 2 Mario Kart World Bundle. Happy with my purchase. Awesome. I've PC gamed for years, but loving Switch 2 for casual gaming fun. I'm glad you're having fun with it. That's good to hear. 100-minute mark. Yeah, Robbie Rains, we're still here. 50 likes. Excellent to see. Yeah, we've got a lot of likes today. We've got a lot of people watching. I'm glad you're all here. 48 watching now. 56 likes. These are some nice numbers. Game Center. Hi Paul, just picked up Kirby Air Riders. Love this game. Awesome to hear. Pokemon Fan 34 dropping those emojis. I like them. Joycey J, you're investigating yourself. Tall show. 70% of himself. Yeah, I guess so. What happened to the beard? I shaved. I think 108 days is how long I let it grow for. I want to say it was August 14th, the start of the gaming history shorts, is the last time I shaved, because looking back at that first video, I was clean shaven, or basically like this, whatever. And then I shaved the night of November 30th. But not before. I did some cosplay as Kratos, Old Man Logan, and then Wolverine Logan. And then I started growing it for a week, and then I'm like, I shaved it again. And then a couple of days, and then I shaved it again. So yeah, if I didn't shave yet, I would already be 10 days in. If I let it grow from that November 30th moment to today, it would be wouldn't be a beard, but it would be a mini beard. It would be a mini little something that would have just cleaned up the neck, a little bit of pop, and you would be already able to tell, oh, it's something. But it wouldn't take long for like 2 weeks, 3 weeks to go by of continuing to crispen it up, and now you're in the right area. 4 weeks, 5 weeks, okay, it's a little bit of a baby beard, but you got something there. 6, 7, I can't believe I said it. And then you got yourself, a small thing. Will you grow it back? I think so. I don't know if I'll let it get to the length that it did before. I might try something different, which would be get it to a level and then maintain that level. I've never done that. I've always just, let's see how long I grow before I say bye. I've never just maintained it at, I'm happy with this, I'm going to keep this. Like you look at Nate, Nintendo Prime, or OJ, Player Essence, you look at Mike Odyssey, they pretty much grow the beard and keep an image. Let it grow a little longer, but Keep an image. Go for the ZZ Top look. I believe in you. That's kind of what I was like. Kevin Cassidy, Go Nintendo, good friend over there, streams too, but more well known for running a website than streaming. But he's got a long beard. He's just let that thing grow and grow and grow. A little bit of trimming, but he's got like a long beard. It would be kind of fun, wild to go like, I don't know if I ever will though. But yeah, the next time I go for it, maybe I'll do like let it go for 8 weeks. 8 weeks. Yeah, that's like roughly half-ish of what I pulled off before. Something like that. See what that looks like as a maintenance level. The beard escapes his face and attaches itself to Jeff Keighley. That'll be the big reveal of the show. I've never known. It looked good on you. Thank you. You want to watch some shorts before we go? The stream will probably end shortly, but before we go, we haven't watched some shorts together in a while, so let's just check out the 4 from today. Today in game...
Only evil this dark could...
Today in gaming history, December 10th, 1993, Doom launched for the MS-DOS in North America. Rip it down! Today in game... That was pretty fun. Doom. Old school. Next.
Only evil this dark could bring him back. Only a game this big could do him justice.
Today in gaming history, December 10th, 1998, Turok 2 Seeds of Evil launched for the Nintendo 64 in North America.
Ooh.
Turok 2 Seeds of Evil. Another good one. The Doom one was fun. Because you gotta use a chainsaw. You gotta implement some fun and chaos to celebrate Doom. Turok 2, also fun. That was a tagline for the game back in the day. Immediate warps it. Something was a little off there. What I meant to say was, it's morphin' time! Today in gaming history, December 10th, 2024, Mighty Morphin Power Rangers Rita's Rewind launched for the Nintendo Switch, PlayStation 4, PlayStation 5, Xbox One, Xbox Series, and PC via Steam worldwide. Immediate warps it. Rita's Rewind. I had a play on saying it's Morphin Time backwards. That was fun. I love Power Rangers too. And I get emotional seeing that t-shirt. That represents Jason David Frank, man. That represents the Green Ranger and the White Ranger. My favorite. Still a sad loss there. But, good game. Good game. Only from a year ago, but super fun. Dzisiaj win historii gry. Oh, przepraszam. Sorry. Today in gaming history, December 10th, 2020, Cyberpunk 2077 launched for the Xbox One, PlayStation 4, Stadia, and PC worldwide. And then Dzisiaj win historii gry means today in gaming history in Polish. And then przepraszam means sorry. And that's because CD Projekt Red is a company from Poland, and they developed Cyberpunk 2077 half a decade ago already. Wow! And what a game it's been, what a launch it had, what it has turned out to being is awesome, and now on Nintendo Switch 2. And yeah, that was Today in Gaming History. I chose these 4. It was pretty fun. How are they doing? Okay, they're all in that 800 to 900 territory. It's pretty sweet. We got the Logan shorts that have been kind of fun lately. 516-day release until the Legend of Zelda movie was fun. Got Tekken 8 the other day. I'm surprised this didn't do better. Huh. You know what? if you all haven't, and don't mind, give that one a little bit of a little attention there. Hit that like button, comment, share. Super Smash Bros. Ultimate, one of the biggest fighting games of all time. I thought this video would have done better.
Sakurai stepped in with a world-sized vision. Everyone is here! Yeah, that's the mission. From plumbers to Arlings, from angels to apes, he opened up the multiverse and broke all the gates. Mario with the fire, Link with the blade, Bayonetta styling while the timelines fade. Mega Man blasts, Cloud drops from the sky. You never know who's pulling up to fight next time. Ryu brings honor, Sora brings light. Banjo-Kazooie take flight mid-fight. Every kind of hero from the classic scene. Cute, cool, strange, strong, everything in between. So how do we get a roster that big and wild? Simple. Sakurai dreams like a fearless child. He called up the studios, said, "Let's unite!" Now Ultimate's the greatest crossover in sight.
Today in gaming history, December 7th, 2018, Super Smash Bros. Ultimate launched for the Nintendo Switch worldwide. Back in high school, I used to rap. Pre-high school, I was put into the National Anthology of Young Poets book in 1995 and 1996, or 1996 and 1997. But 2 years in a row, my poems back-to-back got into the National Anthology of Young Poets book. I've always liked rhyming. I've always liked rapping. Back in the Boy Scouts, I came up with our cheer song for our troop and stuff like that. Yeah. Every year for both of my kids' birthdays, for like the invitation and stuff like that, I write out a poem, and like that's the invitation, you know, going around the theme of the birthday, the year, how old they're turning, etc. So it felt something nice and poetic to do for Smash Bros. And I got 853 views. Come on now. Gotta get to 1,000 on that one. So, if you don't mind giving it some love, thank you. Matt 21155, member for 2 months. Big thank you, Matt. You need a glass of whiskey with that old man Logan look. Yeah, that's true. Be honest, Paul. Chuck Norris sent you a cease and desist about the beard, right? No, he actually complimented me on it. No, just kidding. That's not true either. Yeah, Kevin streams the Go Nintendo podcast every Friday, Saturday afternoon. Yeah, he's awesome. I like Kevin. He's a good guy. Anthony Taylor. Hey, Paul, I am new here to your channel, and I did watch all your Nintendo Direct and Nintendo Switch 2 countdown videos, though. Thank you so much. I'm glad that you're new, and I'm glad that you watched then, and I hope you had fun. Sorry. That was a good time. Those were fun videos to make. Definitely cool. I'm glad that you are around now. Thank you. Well, I guess we'll wrap this up with a little browse on X. We're 2 minutes away from hitting 2 hours, so we'll just hang in here for another couple of minutes to hit that 2-hour mark. Checking notifications. Something went wrong. Well, what is it? Too many notifications? Is it too powerful? Oh yeah, I've seen this before. Cool, cool. Well, thank you all for being here. It's been a fun stream. Thank you to Mitch Begel for the $1 subscription, joining the PGN White Belt tier. Thank you to Roger Enyart 2066 for the $2 generous super chat. You know, we don't always hit our Nintendo $64 goal and give away an eShop card back to the community, or in today's case, you know, 3-pack of the 3D Mario All-Stars coins. But that's okay. We still have a good time. We still talk good gaming, good sales, go over data, talk about whatever we're playing today, what we're looking forward to next. We've got Pokemon Legends, you know, ZA DLC. We've got the Game Awards. We've got games coming to NSO. It's a healthy time. It's a good time to be a video gamer. It's a good time to be here on PGN Live. I hope you all have a good rest of the day. I will be back tomorrow morning, Thursday, December 11th, to go over the Famitsu sales. We'll see how well Metroid Prime 4 Beyond did in Japan, at least. And then shortly after that, I might have some data from some US folks and some folks that are elsewhere that know something, but maybe not. I don't like the bug, but if I get something, then I'll share it. You demand, thank you. You demand. If you're here, you demand too. You're the woman too. You're the person too. You are the quality individual that is spending your time with me today, because as much as you appreciate the content, I appreciate the fun conversation and good vibes right back. I really enjoyed that Smash Bros. Shorts. Really well done. Well, thanks a lot. I appreciate it. Y'all take it easy. Have a fun rest of your day. Play some games. Get in a little workout. Eat well. Smile. Yeah. See you tomorrow for more. Thanks again for being here. Take it easy, y'all.